In this video, I will be discussing Kantian ethics. Kantian ethics is a form of deontological ethics, meaning right and wrong is not defined by the consequences of an action. Rather, they come from someplace else. Kant believed that all rational beings had the capacity to partake in moral thinking, and the Kantian agency is all rational beings must admit the truth of morality. In Kantian ethics, it's usually split into two different types of scenarios. Those are categorical and hypothetical imperatives. In hypothetical imperatives, you're asked to determine what is right and wrong in a certain hypothetical situation. These are usually given in the form, if I am in X, I should do Y. Categorical imperatives are universal. They are stuff you should or should not do. They are given usually in the form, I should do X or I should not do Y. A contradiction of conception is an ethical decision that contradicts itself. Such an example of this could be, I should drive recklessly to prevent people from driving recklessly. A contradiction of will means that an ethical theory fails to pass the first formulation. The first formulation is used to figure out if something passes Kantian ethics, and it states that an ethical decision, you should be okay with an ethical decision becoming a universal law without any contradictions. This means that you are okay with everyone doing it without any contradictions. If something fails to pass this formulation, that is a contradiction of will. In order to determine right and wrong in Kantian ethics, you first need to check to see if it passes that first formulation. That is, that you are okay with it becoming a universal law that everyone does without contradiction. If it does manage to pass this, you go on to test it against the second formulation, which states that people are people and they are not a means in and of themselves. This means that you must treat people as people and you can't just use them to get stuff. This does not mean that you cannot get services from other people. You could still get a mechanic to work on your car. However, you cannot hold a mechanic hostage and force them to work on your car. If a decision fails either of those two formulations, it is wrong. However, if a decision passes both of them, it is correct. One common objection to Kantian ethics is seen in the murderer at the door scenario. In this scenario, you know that your friend is behind a door. You see a murderer who is looking for your friend, and the murderer asks you if the friend is behind the door. You can either lie to the murderer and tell him your friend is not behind the door, or tell the truth and risk your friend's safety. Kant would say that it would be immoral to lie to the murderer, as it would fail the first formulation, as you would not want everyone lying. Kant also believed that you cannot base an ethical decision on the consequences of the actions, as it is often very difficult or impossible to know the consequences of an ethical decision. Another common objection to Kantian ethics is the issue of specification, as well as the issue of all rational beings being able to partake in ethics, but only rational beings being able to partake. This means that someone who has a mental deficiency or illness and is unable to make a rational decision cannot be held ethically for their actions. Thank you.